All right, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into the very latest weekly crypto analysis from Vantage Plus. This just came out yesterday, June 2nd, 2025.
Right, hot off the press.
And our mission today really is to cut through the noise and get straight to what this report is seeing. We want to cover the key market overview points and then dig into the technical picture for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana.
Exactly. We've got the report right here, and we'll guide you through those critical insights. What's quite interesting is how they immediately link the big fundamental forces, the market movers, to specific technical price levels.
Yeah, and speaking of fundamentals, the report really kicks off by highlighting some, well, intense selling pressure. It points to over $600 million in Bitcoin liquidations hitting the market. Now, liquidations, as you probably know, that often means forced selling.
Right, from leveraged positions usually.
Exactly, positions getting closed out. And the report fingers this huge wave of forced selling as the main reason BTC got pushed below that $104,000 mark. That's a lot of sudden pressure.
Oh, absolutely. It really shows you the impact when those leveraged positions unwind, doesn't it? The analysis suggests this kind of event, well, it could signal more downside as possible.
Right.
But they do add a crucial point. This recent rally hasn't really seen heavy involvement from, say, retail traders yet. The report kind of hints that this untapped group of potential buyers could step in later, maybe provide support, maybe even push prices higher down the road. So it's a balance, immediate pain versus potential future buying.
And they connect it back to something we've discussed before, that correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ.
Yeah, the tech stocks.
Vantage Plus notes that with profit-taking perhaps already happening, this correlation could actually amplify the current downside momentum in crypto. They even flag this week's upcoming U.S. economic data releases.
Ah, yes, potential catalysts.
Could influence market direction. Adds another layer of external stuff to keep an eye on.
It really underscores how the report sees the market right now. It's not just internal crypto stuff, but heavily influenced by macro factors and these big forced selling events.
Okay, right. Let's shift gears then and look at the technical side. The report spends quite a bit of time here, starting with Bitcoin itself trading around $104,515 according to yesterday's data. The report really emphasizes Bitcoin's failure to break that big round number, $110,000. You know how those round numbers often act like psychological hurdles?
Absolutely. Traders watch them closely.
And Vantage Plus links this technical failure back to, interestingly, growing uncertainty around potential U.S. tariffs. They're suggesting that fundamental worry might be holding back the upward momentum.
Yeah, what stands out in their analysis of the weekly BTC chart is this view that, okay, after a strong recovery move, lower prices might be next. If the selling keeps up, they're looking at the 50 moving average, that common trend indicator, currently near $85,000 as a potential target.
85K, okay.
But they're quick to point out key support zones on the way down that could cause bounces. And importantly, they say, if that $104,000 actually holds, if it doesn't break down decisively, the chance of a quick recovery goes up.
Right, so 104K is really the battleground there. How about Ethereum? The report had ETH around $2,537, described it as, well, another week stuck in a range.
Yeah, pretty much range bound. They highlight $2,600 as that key resistance level that ETH just hasn't been able to beat, despite trying a few times. And looking at the ETH weekly chart, the report's take is that after failing to push higher, the market's likely to dip lower first. They had an FI key support level at $2,550.
$2,550 for ETH support.
Exactly. They see that area as crucial for figuring out where ETH goes next if it does break lower this week. And, echoing the broader market points, they tie ETH's vulnerability back to general market sentiment. If things turn more bearish overall, ETH could lose steam fast.
Okay, moving on to XRP. Yesterday's price was about 2.1690 zeros. The analysis says it's still locked sideways, but they see it as quite vulnerable to more losses.
Yeah, their view on XRP really centers on that $2,000 zone, a big psychological level again. If that breaks, the XRP monthly chart suggests a potential fall way back, looking at past price action.
Wow, okay.
Vantage Plus also points to a lower high made back in May. That technical sign where a peak is lower than the last one, often suggests buyers might be losing strength.
Right.
And they mention a technical pin bar candlestick pattern on the chart too. That specific candle shape can sometimes signal a trend might be getting exhausted.
Yeah.
Both signals, they think, reinforce a potential bearish outlook for XRP.
Got it. And finally, Solana. At $155.63 yesterday, the report identifies SOL as the weakest of the bunch they looked at.
Yeah, the reasoning is pretty specific. SOL actually broke below its 50 moving average last week.
Okay.
That technical break, the report interprets, suggests the price could keep falling. Looking at the SOL weekly chart, they see the upside potential is pretty limited, capped below $180.
So $180 is the ceiling for now.
According to Vantage Plus, yeah. A break above that is needed for any real push higher, and they think that's quite far off right now. And just like with Ethereum, they explicitly link Solana's potential downside to Bitcoin's current vulnerability we talked about earlier.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive into the Vantage Plus report from June 2nd, it sounds like it paints a picture of a market really facing some significant fundamental selling pressure, especially hitting Bitcoin, and then specific technical levels and patterns across BTC, ETH, XRP, and SOL are suggesting potential downside, though maybe with varying degrees of weakness among the altcoins.
Yeah, it's a very structured way the report frames things, doesn't it? Really highlights those key battlegrounds on the charts for the immediate future.
So as you digest this analysis, maybe consider this question. How might those specific technical levels and patterns the report highlights for each token? Bitcoin struggle at 104K, Ethereum's key $2,550 support, XRP may be breaking below $2, or Solana needing to get back above $180. How might those actually play out if those broader fundamental factors they mentioned, like the U.S. data or shifts in overall market mood, move one way or the other? How does the report suggest these pieces fit together? Something to think about based on their view.